Okay, boys and girls. Earlier in this lesson, you learned about what culture is, what is identity, what is culture, and how we can start to identify ourselves, what matters to us, who am I, who are you, how do you answer this kind of a question, and how much of yourself do you share with each other, if anything. And so we want to think about identity as how we are on the outside, what how people see us physically, and then also mostly also what we how we represent on the inside. So our culture, our ethnicity, what makes you unique, what makes you special, what matters to you, what's important to you in life. Um, Maybe you guys have traditions with your friends. Maybe there's friends that you have a summer tradition, or family you have family tradition. Think of your cousins. Think of your aunts and uncles. Anyone that is around you. You have ways of relating to one another, and so this is to help us understand our attitudes, our traits, our beliefs, our behavior, and being able to write that down as your first writing assignment. And so the way that you're going to do this is you are just going to click on this image here and it will take you to, you'll see a link. Oops. You will see a link. Once you click this image, you'll see a link pop up. Just click that link and you will begin your writing assignment. And so list writing is a great way to brainstorm ideas. Sometimes you'll have an assignment in a science class or a history class where your teacher will give you a prompt, and they'll say, "Okay, tell me why the Egyptian pyramids were built." And so you have all these ideas in your head. Well, I don't know, it was built for this reason and that reason. Write everything down that you know about that topic. Write a list. You can start by giving bullet points. You can do one through 10, or 1 through 8, 1 through 9. However it is, bullet points, numbers, paragraph writing, whatever is more comfortable for you. I just want you to put all your ideas down on paper. So here we'll go through these questions again. Who are you? What represents you? What are your family traditions? What makes you unique? What is your culture, ethnicity? And again, if you don't know your culture, ethnicity, ask somebody around you. Ask a friend. Maybe a friend can give you some good insight, maybe as to why they are your friend, what makes you special as a friend, as a person on the inside and outside, or a family member also. What makes your culture special or unique? Maybe some of you out there don't really know, or your and even your family members don't really know much about your culture. That can be something, that can be a topic that you write down. For example, for myself, I have an Italian heritage. My half of my family's from Italy, and the other half of my family is Irish, very very Irish. And so I don't really know much about my Irish ancestry. Oops. So maybe you can write down, and the goal of this, boys and girls, is that at the end of this, you're going to make a list of at least 5 things. Please go over 5 if you possibly can. If you can't come up with 5, give me 4. Um, Come up with at least 5 topics to write about. You are going to choose your favorite out of this list, and you are going to write me 1 page about that topic. And so, if I were to write down my Irish ancestry, maybe what I write about is I maybe want to do more research online about my Irish ancestry and what I'm able to find. So that's one brainstorm. That's one list for myself. Now, when I think of traditions, my family traditions, I know my grandfather was very Italian, and whenever we'd visit him, he'd always sing songs in Italian. Just down his hall as he walked, and he'd always make his famous lasagna recipe that he passed down to my family. So I'm going to write that down as one of my lists. The lasagna recipe that my mom makes. I'm going to say grandfather's lasagna recipe that my mom makes every we happen to celebrate Christmas. I know some people don't celebrate Christmas, but this is something that we do as a family. Every Christmas Eve, I'm sorry, actually, it's Christmas night. No, it is Christmas Eve. I had to think about that. Every Christmas Eve dinner, we make it and we gather together. And so for this one, maybe I can write a story of a time that I remember, a personal narrative. I remember one of those Christmas Eves. I can kind of retell what happens during Christmas Eve dinner when we help my mom make the famous lasagna recipe and how we sit down and talk as a family. So I can retell a story. Another list. So let me look at my questions up here. What makes you unique? Let me see. Let me see if I can answer that question. What makes me, Miss Roberts, unique? Well, I can say that I something that makes me unique is that and guys, I want you to love on yourself a little bit. Um, Talk about yourself in a positive way. I think that's always so important to do. We forget to do that sometimes. Brag about yourself a little bit. It's okay. If you have something really cool to share about yourself, share it. So I would like to say that one thing that makes me unique is that I am well traveled. And when I say well traveled, I lived in Sicily for a little while and I studied at the university down there. Sicily is in Italy, by the way. If you didn't know, you can look it up on a map. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself as an individual, and I apply. So I'll just say I learned a lot about myself. So then I can maybe tell a story about a time, something that happened one day when I lived in Sicily one time. So again, this shows the reader who I am and what matters to me. So if you guys run out of room, notice how I'm kind of running out of room over here. All you got to do is just continue your list writing over here. If I leave off with number 6, I'll probably start off with number 7. Okay. And so on and so forth. Try and come up with at least 5. I'm going to come up with one more. Let me look at another. What makes your culture special or unique? Ask if you don't know. That's a hard one. What are you passionate about? Okay. So sometimes, you guys, you're young. Maybe you don't know exactly what you're passionate about. Well, what do you hope to be passionate about in the future? Maybe you can start writing down some interests that you have. And that kind of helps to spread your identity because it shows us who you are as a person on the inside and what matters to you. So I'm going to answer that question. I like that one a lot better. I'm going to write that in here. What matters to you? I'm going to say as one of my lists, what matters to me is equality amongst all races. And I'm going to say Black. I'm going to say Black Lives Matter. I'm going to say fight for justice. That's something that I can find passion in. I've done some research over summer. Oh, what matters to you? So those are some things that matter to me. And maybe I can write a little 1-page piece about why that matters to me. Number 5. What represents you? That's a big question. What represents you? So something that represents me, I would say if I had to come up with a word, it would be, I would say family and closeness. Bond. I bond. I form special bonds with people around me. And that shows that I'm friendly, kind. Okay. So maybe I can tell about a time when I went out of my way for someone, or I helped someone that was really important to me. And that could be a page of writing. All right. And so on and so forth. Keep making your lists over here. And that's basically what you're going to do for this short assignment is just make some lists answering some of these questions up here. And maybe you think of more questions to add to this. Please feel free.